Jubilee, the 40th release by Big Finish Audio Productions based on Doctor Who. It was written by Robert Shearman and was released on 2 CDs and 4 overall parts on the 4th of February 2003. Now, this one technically provided a lot of the inspiration for the 2005 episode Dalek, which was the big televisual return for the Daleks. And hey, Robert Shearman even wrote that episode. So you can, and listening to this particular audio adventure through, you can definitely hear the similarities and see the roots of what Robert Shearman would ultimately create for Dalek in 2005. The story focuses around the Sixth Doctor, voiced by Colin Baker, and his companion Evelyn Smythe, voiced by Maggie Stables. Now, apparently Evelyn Smythe was a character whom they created specifically for the audio dramas. Like, I believe on screen, the Sixth Doctor only really had 2 companions throughout his reign, which were, of course, Perry and Mel. So they created a whole new character for the audio adventures, and while I know this isn't their introduction story, this is the first time I'm hearing her, and to be honest, Maggie Staples does a good job. I mean, she definitely seems like one of these companions who isn't romanticised. Like, there's no chance of her and the Doctor hooking up. Like, she is ready to put him in his place, and she knows about history, so she does well here. Now, what happens with the two of them is that they end up in 2003, or rather an alternate version of 2003, as something they sense something isn't quite right, as the TARDIS seemingly malfunctions or something and then disappears. The Doctor realises that the TARDIS is stuck between 2 places, now and 100 years ago. So it's stuck between 2003 and 1903. But as they explore, they find something's not quite right. And they soon discover what it is. But most of the story, as I said, as previous adventure show, they meet up with a lot of colourful characters, including the Rochesters, voiced by Martin Jarvis and Rosalind Ayres, and 2 of their servants named Farrow, voiced by Steve Elder, and Lamb, voiced by Kai Simmons. And there's also others along the way, but the main thing is this version of humanity isn't right, because they know about the Daleks. The Daleks are... They're kind of an old legend at this point, because Nigel reveals he's got a Dalek kind of kept up in the Tower of London, or he is keeping a Dalek prisoner. And this version of humanity, and specifically England, they know about the Daleks, and they've already defeated the Daleks. They know that in 1903, the Doctor arrived and helped defeat the Daleks, as did Evelyn Smythe. But because of that, this version of humanity is now really not right, as they know, well, how best to describe this? There's a lot going on. The Daleks have been defeated. I mean, the Daleks have been defeated for years. Nigel is keeping one kind of battered version of the Daleks in his possession. But aside from that, the Daleks are never seen. I mean, it's known that humanity defeated the Daleks, and they're living it up. Including a Dalek that's brought out like several times a year, is tortured, and then with the liquid that it excretes, they then drink that liquid as Dalek juice. Which, even I think is a bit weird and probably a bit disgusting, but Nigel just tried. It's rather like caviar. It's a delicacy. It's a rarity. We can only get it a few times a year. Like, we torture this Dalek until it bleeds this stuff, and then it won't bleed again for another 6 months. So frankly, enjoy it. It's a delicacy. But then, as time goes on, they realise that because humanity defeated the Daleks, they're effectively now becoming Daleks, as they're celebrating this kind of big event, having a jubilee for the defeat of the Daleks 100 years ago. But as it goes on more and more, the Doctor and Evelyn begin to see how much humanity has changed, and even those in power like Nigel and Miriam, just how insane they've become. I mean, also in this timeline, England, because of its defeat of the Daleks in 1903, it's somewhat become the world dominant superpower. Like, they look down on other countries, they look down on America, and they lend money to America, but America is seen as lower down than them. So much so that the United States now has a prime minister instead of a president. The prime minister, voiced once again by Nicholas Briggs, who also does the voice of the Daleks and one of the announcers. And yeah, just to... what the English people plan to do is they plan to wheel out the last remaining Dalek in existence and then effectively execute it in public so that they can have a grand celebration with lots of bunting, just destroy the Dalek and just enjoy the celebration of it, even though the Doctor and Evelyn see this as rather macabre and slightly scary. But they soon realise that two points in time are now effectively colliding, and it's a race against time to find out exactly what's going on. Now, they do also do a tease towards the end of part 2, where Evelyn is brought to the tower by various people, and they said that they've got a figure in a wheelchair who is said to be sort of like the creator of the Daleks. He is the reason why they're all here. And I was just thinking to myself, no, they can't do this. I mean, they can't introduce Davros like this in a Big Finish story. I mean, maybe he is somewhere, but not like this. No, this is way too low down for him. But the twist they actually do, spoiler alert, it's not Davros, but I won't say what it is here. Go off and listen to Jubilee before you go any further, but I do think they do some good twists here, and then the ultimate kind of twist where, effectively, in destroying the Daleks, humanity becomes the new form of Daleks, especially the English Empire becomes the new Daleks. It's rather haunting to listen to. I mean, I think this is a story that I'm not sure I could really describe it and do it justice. So I'd say go off, listen to Jubilee, and see for yourself. It's one of those stories that you can definitely see the similarities to Dalek from 2005 once you listen to it. See the points of the Dalek kind of questioning its orders, asking for orders, and then just since it's not getting any. It does have one or two moments that I personally think are a little, possibly a little too humorous. For example, it's shown that Nigel has like his own collection of Daleks filled with people with dwarfism, right? Which I can't help feeling is a little offensive, but he has gathered up a bunch of people, put them in these Dalek suits, and then gets them to do Dalek things, including sing a Dalek song, which, once I listened to it, I was just like, yeah, this is way too silly. Just having Daleks, or not quite Daleks, but you know what I mean, Daleks singing a Dalek song. I just found myself chuckling at that point. So Jubilee, I do think, has one of those stories that at times it gets a little silly, but then when it gets dark, it gets dark. So listen to it for yourself, see what your own opinions of it, and yeah, and you'll definitely see the similarities to Dalek once you listen to it. But it is one that I think people should listen to. So, Big Finish, 40th release, Dalek, Jubilee, for Doctor Who. I give it a thumbs up. Anyway, until next time, see ya.